We see few examples of true dedication today. Few men and women take the morals, mindset, and mission of organizations and make them their own. Few men and women dedicate themselves and take the time to strive to be part of something larger. However, hope is not lost. There still remain the chosen few who take the time to dedicate themselves and push the limits of what can be achieved. Retired Marine Corps General John F. Kelly is one such individual. Despite the loss of family over a lifetime of service to the United States Marine Corps and this nation, he has doubled down and continues to serve as the Chief of Staff for the current presidential administration. Allow me to tell you a story. I was a young Marine, brand new to my first duty station in Camp Pendleton, California. I had been assigned the task of briefing the daily intelligence update to the commanding general and his staff. My sergeant and I waited nervously outside the secretary's door. Suddenly, down the hall, a door opened to the deputy commanding general's office, and out stepped a tall, slightly gaunt, gray-haired man wearing the rank of major general. He waved us down and indicated that we should enter his office. We entered, and my sergeant and I entered and stood at attention. He asked to see the brief. I handed it over and I took my seat. He slowly perused each slide, asking a few questions and making idle chat. After he had finished and returned the brief, he looked at me and said, "Don't be nervous about briefing the boss. He wants to know what you know and craves the information you provide, despite everything he has on his plate." We then were dismissed and returned to waiting outside the secretary's door. If you had asked me at that time my first impression of John Kelly, it would have been of steadfast confidence with a hint of Marine aggression. Little did I know that I would be providing daily intelligence update briefs to the future Secretary of Homeland Security. John Kelly began his military service differently than most men in the 1970s. Rather than wait for his draft number to come up, Kelly enlisted in the United States Marine Corps in 1970. After serving some time as an enlisted Marine in 1975, Kelly was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the United States Marine Corps. From here, Kelly would spend the next 40 years as an active duty officer, finally achieving the rank of general in July of 2012. During his career, Kelly would spend years overseas in multiple deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan at the height of military operations. He would lead troops into combat during the now infamous First Battle of Fallujah, and in early 2008, he would command over 4,000 troops in northern Iraq in one of the largest pushes against al-Qaeda forces. Now, this doesn't necessarily make Kelly stand out from his peers. Both retired Marine generals James Mattis and Joseph Dunford can lay claim to similar careers. But what does make John Kelly stand out in his dedication to his military service is that he has done all of this despite the loss of his son. On November 9, 2010, Second Lieutenant Robert Kelly was killed by a roadside bomb during foot patrol in Helmand, Afghanistan. Kelly was a lieutenant general serving as the CG for Marine Forces Reserve at the time. It has been speculated that at that time he considered retiring. He had already dedicated 35 years of his life to serving his nation, and he had reached the second highest rank in the U.S. military structure. But most importantly, he had just lost his son. Well, ladies and gentlemen, he did not. He went further. He took this life-changing event and made it into something more of it. When asked about the initial invasion of Baghdad, Iraq in 2003, he is quoted as saying, "These are Marines. Men like them held Guadalcanal and took Iwo Jima. Baghdad ain't shit." John Kelly is one of those Marines. He has lived that dedication. He has taken that step to dedicate himself to something larger, to work within the morals, mindset, and mission of the United States Marine Corps, and now as a member of this current presidential administration, to achieve more. He achieved the highest rank in the U.S. military and dedicated 40 years of his life to the Marine Corps in the United States of America. And I say, from one Marine to another, Semper Fidelis, always faithful.